Hello, everyone, and welcome to the online Master of Science in Quality Assurance webinar with California State University, Dominguez Hills. It's wonderful to see so many of you attending live today and learn how our hands-on program can prepare you for a career in this dynamic field while also meeting the needs of those working professionals. My name is Sarah, and I will be moderating and helping to facilitate today's session alongside our host and MSQA instructor, Rochelle Cook, and Keith Otterberg, the CSUDH Director of Marketing for our Quality Assurance program. During today's presentation, we will discuss what quality assurance is, careers in quality assurance and what it can do for you, some student outcomes, and the MS in quality assurance offered here at CSUDH. And as a reminder, we will be conducting a live questions and answer session at the end of our presentation. So we just ask that you use the questions box in your attendee control panel to submit all questions throughout the duration of this webinar or during the Q&A session, and we will try to address as many questions as time permits. This webinar is being recorded and will be sent for your reference tomorrow following the webinar for you to pass on to colleagues as well if you would like. All right, it is now my pleasure to introduce our presenter and MSQA instructor, Rochelle Cook. Rochelle has a wealth of experience in both the manufacturing and healthcare sectors with a background in engineering and project management. Rochelle is a Six Sigma Master Black Belt and quality engineer, just to name a few, and her expertise lies in team facilitation, process improvement, and Six Sigma certification training. Rochelle, thank you so much for joining us today.
And thank you. Hello, everyone. We appreciate you joining this webinar. And in the next slide, before we get into the details about the Master of Science in Quality Assurance program here at California State University, Dominguez Hills, let's level set what we mean when we say quality assurance. As you can see on the screen, overall, quality assurance results in a concerted effort to ensure that the desired level of quality, as defined by the customer, is achieved through development and production, as well as delivery of products, goods, and services. Moreover, the expectation is having a level of confidence that those requirements are fulfilled as defined by the customer. Kubiak also describes quality assurance as those actions that are taken to yield confidence that those customer expectations are met. And so understanding and applying quality assurance helps organizations achieve those strategic goals while remaining relevant and competitive in their respective fields. So how does a degree in quality assurance contribute to that effort? Well, on the next slide, you'll see that our program has a breadth of topics that are covered to support the concepts, methodologies, and approaches that facilitate how the organizations maneuver to be long-lasting and have a level of longevity in their respective fields while exceeding and meeting those customer expectations. So topics range from total quality management, process improvement, and other topic areas to give you a holistic experience in the Master of Science Quality Assurance program. On the next slide, you might wonder, what careers encompasses a quality assurance degree? Well, the Quality Progress magazine suggests that careers span from the manufacturing and service sectors. And so the quality assurance field is certainly relevant and present in today's changing society. And there are several types of companies that embrace quality and integrate it into their larger strategic plan. Functional areas that cover biotechnology, healthcare, engineering from various fields such as aerospace, automotive, information technology, and other fields that cover the breadth of how people, processes, and technology achieve those desired requirements as defined by the customer. So a well-rounded quality assurance profession facilitates in delivering on those strategic objectives. Next, quality assurance is much prevalent in today's economy as well. The December issue of Quality Progress magazine suggests that the average annual salary for quality professionals, based on a survey and the numbers of years in that current position, was well over $90K. And this was based on a survey of full-time employees in the U.S. And now we will turn it over to Keith.
Thanks, Rochelle. So you might be asking yourself, why Dominguez Hills? Well, we established our quality assurance program in the 1980s and brought it online in 1996. So we've been online almost as long as the web has been around. Our graduates are in many, many different industries, including healthcare, manufacturing, utilities, biopharmaceuticals, logistics, aerospace, the military, and so on. They specialize in quality assurance, but in other fields as well: engineering, research, supply chain management, and more. You can apply quality assurance to just about any field you're in, including marketing, which I'm in. Our faculty expertise runs the gamut of quality assurance tools, including Lean Six Sigma, ISO 9000, process improvement, quality management, metrology, industrial engineering, and more. We take a look at the next slide. We conduct periodic surveys of our students, and our student outcomes consistently are high in these areas. 62% in our last survey earned a salary increase after their promotion or after their graduation. 89% considered the courses relevant to their industry's demands. 91% felt the degree would be helpful to their career, and 92% gained knowledge and skills required for the job. One aspect of this program is that you can apply the tools that you are learning as you do the program. So from your very first class, you will be applying it in your job. And then, of course, once you graduate, you'll get even more benefits. If I could see the next slide. This is what some of our students are saying about it. Rochelle?
Yes, thanks, Keith. And based on what Keith just shared, that was very important. One of the advantages that CSUDH has is that we not only give and offer various coursework in your matriculation, but our students have a well-rounded experience. And what I mean by that is the testimonials that you see on the screen. And this is important because the students are put in a rigorous program where they are not only introduced to the principles and concepts, but they also have to apply those principles and concepts to practical use through this Master's of Science program. And so they not only obtain a degree, but they also have an experience that they can use instantly, as Keith has noted, and also be able to share it with their colleagues and other coworkers. And as you can see from the quotes, that reflects the experience that one might have through enrolling and participating in the program. I recall recently a student who is embarking on completing their thesis. They said that they began the process in a panic, but once they went through the coursework, that panic left because they not only had a chance to understand what was expected, they also had an opportunity to practice and apply it in this environment. And so that is very, very significant for this particular program. And so we can attribute that to the wealth and breadth of knowledge and expertise of our instructors, which you will see on the next slide. So our instructors, we are very fortunate that we have a cadre of instructors who not only are credentialed, but they have a degree of expertise in various fields that cover those topics that we talked about earlier. You will find that our instructors also teach their passion. And what I mean by that is they have had hands-on and extensive experience in the various courses that they teach. And so that adds more to the practicality of the coursework and makes it real to the students so that it enhances their overall experience. Speaking of coursework, let's take a look at the quality assurance courses on the next slide. As you can see here, we have 3-hour credit courses that we offer, and they cover a wide range of those topic areas, as you see, from statistics, total quality management, quality project management, and ultimately, as a condition of completing the program, your thesis or project through directed research. And so, as you can see, our program is very holistic, and there's something for everyone. In fact, on the next slide, you will also see that we have a focus in service and healthcare. So if that is your area of expertise, we also offer the service and healthcare track. And thirdly, we have a breadth of electives that you can take as well on the next slide. These elective courses, many of them have prerequisites, but again, it gives the student a breadth and depth of experience to apply to their degree program. So what are the advantages of having a master's degree? Many of you are already in the quality field and you already have established your career. Well, if you haven't, having that master's degree is equivalent to walking into your role with 2 years of experience. And if you already have that experience, think about your professional development and how a master's degree in quality assurance can reinforce that intellectual capital that you have and further your professional development. And lastly, but certainly not least, this degree will help position you to remain current in our ever-changing environment and global environment. And so continuing to build on that wealth of experience that can be shared with your peers as well as those that you mentor. Next, we'll turn it over to Keith.
Thank you, Rochelle. So if you're going to apply for the program, it's a very simple process. You go to a website called Cal State Apply and you apply for the program. The GPA requirement is only a 2.75 in your undergraduate studies. There is no GRE or GMAT required. And you would apply, as Rochelle mentioned earlier, for either the manufacturing or the service and healthcare option. You could check out the next slide. The program current cost is $330 per credit, or 33 credits in total. So the total cost in tuition is $10,000, almost $11,000. When you include books and other fees, you're getting a master's degree for around $12,000 or $13,000. That's very cheap. And as compared to some programs, for example, some MBA programs are $50,000 to $75,000. So this is a very, very economical program. If we could see the next slide. So the first step is you apply via Cal State Apply. You then contact your previous college or colleges to request official transcripts be sent. They are sent to our admissions office at admit@csudh.edu. And then you send 2 letters of support or letters of recommendation and a statement of purpose to our department chair, Milt Krivakucha. It's a long name, but you can pick it up in the when you receive the presentation tomorrow. M. Krivakucha, and that's it. And then you'll hear from us about your acceptance. You can see the next deadline. So the deadline to apply is July 1st. So you'll want to be starting the application now and getting it done. And then once you have been accepted, there's a registration deadline of August 30th for this fall's classes. You can see the next slide. And if you got any questions during this process, we're easy to reach via email, phone, or the website. The website has a lot of information about the program if you would like to explore it more in depth. And if you have specific questions, please let us know. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Sarah.
All right, great. Thank you, Keith and Rochelle, for the valuable information about the CSUDH Quality Assurance Program. And now at this time, we will begin the Q&A session. So just as a reminder, please use your questions box on the right-hand side of your screen to ask your questions, and we will get started. So we already have a few questions that have come in throughout the webinar, so we'll dive right in. And Keith, the first question is for you. Are there any on-campus requirements for this online program? Is this a hybrid format?
No, this is completely online. You never have to come to campus unless you would like to take part in your graduation ceremony. But no, you can do this from any part of the world that has internet connection.
Great, thank you. And Rochelle, this question will be directed towards you, please. Can you explain a bit more about what makes this program hands-on? How does it provide experience that will be valued by an employer?
This program is hands-on in that we cultivate an interactive environment, although we are online, and as Keith alluded, could be located in different parts of the world. One example is we utilize Blackboard as our central hub for our communication and posting of assignments. And we also take advantage of the sessions that allow the students to interact and collaborate on various assignments, give and receive feedback. We also utilize Zoom meeting to connect with our students periodically throughout the semester, so that we also can apply live voices, if you will, to those questions and to those pieces of feedback that they may have for the instructors or the instructors have for them. And so that experience is still available, although we are in an online environment, and that is to make sure that the student has the opportunity to interact with their peers as well as their instructors.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Rochelle. And another question for you that comes in, which area is seeing more growth from an employment standpoint? Would that be more the manufacturing or healthcare and services sectors?
Which area is, did you say more growth?
Yeah, is experiencing more growth from an employment standpoint?
That's a great question. I don't have any statistics in front of me. I will say that Quality Progress Magazine is a secondary source that did some fielding around quality assurance. The quality assurance field in and of itself is very alive and well. And what the article suggested, and this is in the December issue, is that those quality professionals that tend to stay in quality post 6 years tend to experience a favorable career path. And so in terms of whether manufacturing or service is growing faster than the other, I would say it would depend on what sector you are looking at. And I would advise that you, research that sector to see what growth opportunities exist and what growth opportunities are being projected.
I might want to add to that statistics may not bear out the impact of quality in industry, in the sense that graduates of our program or of other quality programs put their tools to work in management in all sorts of ways. So you don't have to be in the quote unquote quality department to use this technology. You can use the tools in any management context and in any field. So many quality practitioners are actually sort of stealth practitioners, if you will, And so this sort of path can lead you to be, say, a director of operations in a manufacturing facility, that sort of thing, or a COO of operations.
Great, thank you both. The next question, Keith, I believe you alluded to this a bit, but this person is asking, what if my BA is not in a technical field, but I have been employed in a technical field / ISO 9000 for over 15 years? I guess would this program still be good for her?
Yeah, not a problem. The student will choose which track is more appropriate for them. So if they have a technical background and they want to go into the manufacturing side, they can do that, and that track is a little bit more technical than the service and healthcare side. If they don't have a technical background and they don't have a background in quality, they may want to choose the service and healthcare side. Both teach the principles of quality, but one is a little bit more technical than the other.
Great, thank you. And the next question, is this program self-directed? Keith, can you take that one as well?
The answer would no, from the standpoint that it is not, it's not, do it at your own pace sort of thing. We have three trimesters per year where you can take classes, and the classes are taught asynchronously, not live. So you log in several times a week to do the work and interact with your classmates and the instructor, but you do not do it at your own pace in that sense. It is self-directed in that you can find, there's a lot of electives, as we pointed out, and you can find which tools you need to build for your own particular needs and career path.
All right, thank you. And Keith, can you also speak to if there is a program acceptance rate, and if so, do you have that number available?
I don't have that number available, but as you can see, the GPA requirements are not high. That does not mean that the quality of the program is not good, but the program is taught by quality practitioners who've been in the industry many years, but the qualifications to get in are not that great, so the acceptance rate is pretty high.
All right, great, thank you. And the next question, how fast can you complete the 33 units? The online mentions that it's 2.5 years, but can you finish faster than that?
You can, but often the hang-up is the thesis or project. But if you have, if you're well organized with regards to that, you can complete it the thesis as well as all the courses in 2 years.
All right, thank you. So this person is saying they went to school in another country, but they are now a U.S. citizen. Would their non-U.S. college transcript be accepted still?
That's subject to review, but the short answer is probably yes, because we have students from all over the world who are their bachelor's level education is from another country. The only thing would be if their primary education was in a language other than English, then they would need to take the TOEFL exam and be able to demonstrate college level English ability.
All right, great, thank you. And Rochelle, this question is for you. How valuable would this program be for someone who has 5+ years of industry experience?
It would be quite valuable. As I stated earlier, it will be quite valuable because it will basically expand on the wealth of knowledge that that individual has already obtained through their experience in the industry. and that experience can help enhance learning the latent knowledge of the quality principles and all of the various coursework. And so we have individuals in the program that are of different industries as well as in different levels in the organization, whether it's from an analyst to a quality director level and other levels. So this program will basically enhance what they bring to the program, and also they also will leave the program not only with a degree, but with a even deeper knowledge that they can use immediately in their respective roles.
Wonderful, thank you. And Keith, does a lower GPA than 2.75 automatically disqualify for applicants being accepted into the program?
Not necessarily. They can appeal to the program director, Milt Krivakucha, and especially in their statement of purpose letter, they can make a case for why they should be allowed into the program.
All right, great. And our next question, how much time throughout the week should you dedicate for each course or the coursework? And I think, Keith, maybe I'll pass that to you. Or Rochelle? Okay. No,
yes.
Either one.
Well, I'll jump in and I'll let Keith add. I will say, and forgive the expression, it depends. As I stated earlier, our curriculum is quite rigorous, but it's also an interactive environment. And so to matriculate, what I always tell the students and give advice to is you manage your experience. And so with the previous question of how fast to complete the 33 units, Keith alluded on average that's 2.5 years. However, there are a lot of drivers in between. First of all, life happens, okay? And so with each of our students are unique in that they have careers already, they have other responsibilities, and so you have to factor in those elements that are external to the program but are just as important. So how much time you spend studying, it really depends on what's going on in that student's work life, personal life, et cetera, as well as what the assignments that are given in order for them to, again, complete those assignments on time and stay on track in their path to finish the program. So it really depends on a number of factors.
Great, thank you, Rochelle. And the next question is for you as well. Many of your courses require some knowledge of statistical software. What software does the program use, and do I have a choice of what software I can use if I have a preference?
That's a good question. And Keith, feel free to chime in. I have not taught the statistical classes as of yet. However, I do know that we have SPSS. That's one software. That Minitab could be another one. But really, it will be driven by the syllabus would state what software, if any, is required, and the instructor through that syllabus will make sure that the student has the detail of how to access it and how it will be used in the respective course. Keith, did you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with any statistical software that we use at this point, but I can say that for example, in the project management course, we had there's a student version of Microsoft Project that was made available. So if there is statistical software that's required, it will probably be made available to the student.
Great, thank you both. And Keith, for you, could you start in the fall of 2019 if you are also finishing your BA that semester at another institution? So this person's just curious if this is feasible.
Unfortunately, no. The California State University system requires that you have completed your bachelor's degree in order to be accepted into a master's program. So for that person, if they're completing the bachelor's in the fall, they can apply for the spring program and start up then.
Wonderful. And Keith, I think you might have alluded to this a bit before when we were talking international, but this person is asking, are the admission requirements the same for internationally educated professionals? And if so, where can I be directed towards these requirements?
The admission requirements are the same, except as I was saying earlier, if you were educated in a primary language other than English, you would need to pass the TOEFL exam, and those requirements are on the admissions page on the MSQA site.
All right, great. Let's see, so the next question here, can any of the 33 units be utilized from work experience, say if you have internal auditing CSUs for the ISO 9001, etc.? Keith, maybe or Rochelle for that one.
Can any of the 33 units be used
from work experience?
From work experience. I would ask if they could elaborate on what they mean by from work experience.
Yeah, I think possibly maybe applied, you know, if they have work experience prior in the field, maybe apply that towards the 33 units to maybe knock out some of those classes, is how I'm interpreting it.
Oh, I see. Well, in terms of the course requirements themselves, again, we use the syllabus as our main hub for explaining to the student what's expected. Their experience that they bring to any course, again, depending on what's required via the syllabus, can be applied, but it all depends on what the requirements are and how the assignments are approached. So, for example, they may have extensive experience in auditing. However, the assignments given may require more than just having experience. That experience could enhance their completing that assignment, but it will not replace completing the assignment. So again, while we respect everyone's experience coming in, we try to design our courses to be interactive, to be educational, but also to balance the practical with the conceptual. So they still will be required to complete the assignments as given by the instructor as another student who comes in with zero experience, if that makes sense.
It does. Thank you very much. And for the next question, there's a few questions that I'll kind of summarize this main concept. So people are asking, what is the time limit to complete the degree for students that are maybe doing this on a part-time basis? We know that it's, there's 2.5 years is a general, but is there a limit to when we should be completing?
Yes, there's a 5-year limit to complete the degree. After 5 years, your courses begin to expire in terms of their application to the degree. So, so you really need to complete it within 5 years.
All right, great, thank you. And Rochelle, I will pass this one on to you. This person is asking, what has been the placement rate in the quality assurance field for students who enter the program with no QA work experience? Is there career assistance services provided by this program for such a case?
What is the placement rate for students who enter the program with no experience?
Yes.
I am not sure what the placement rate is. Keith, would you happen to have an idea of what that?
We don't place students. That's not our role. We do have a career center at CSUDH, which you can take advantage of. And there are certainly networking opportunities within the program, which will help you in terms of landing your next job. But we do not provide placement assistance for the program.
All right, great, thank you. And the next question here for you, Keith, this person has pointed out, I took 2 classes 1 year ago towards certification, but out of the MSQA. Would these classes still count if I enroll in the program?
Yes, you can transfer up to 9 units of graduate level coursework, and since these courses were taken outside of being admitted to Dominguez Hills, they're considered having to be transferred in. So yes, those would count, but you need to keep in mind the 5-year limit that I mentioned. So those courses, that effectively started the 5-year clock by taking those courses. So you need to complete the program within 5 years of having first taken those courses.
All right, and is there any financial aid assistance for folks looking to enter this program?
There's no financial aid available in the sense of grants. However, student loans are available through Sallie Mae and other organizations to take part in the program.
All right, thank you. And Rochelle, this person, possibly you could just allude to this person's question here. How will this program enhance my MBA and engineering degree?
Yes, this program will enhance your other degrees, such as an MBA or an engineering degree, by providing, again, that foundational, the principles of quality that are integrated in most organizations. And so, for instance, a person with an MBA degree, this particular program may connect to their experience, especially for topics such as cost of quality, if you will, in terms of being able to estimate percent defectives and being able to apply that in a project or in their thesis consequently. And so, as we stated in the previous slides, an MSQA will not only give a student who has no experience 2 years of experience from the rigorous coursework, but those that already have experience or those advanced degrees in those areas, it can help enhance what they already know and be able to further apply what they've already gained through those different elements of quality. So it definitely is an enhancer, and it's really driven by what that student is passionate about from a professional standpoint and from an application standpoint. And that's what makes our program so holistic. And really, I think the driver is what the student seeks to walk away with through going through this program.
Great, thank you, Rochelle. And another question for you is, upon graduation, do graduates get certified, say in Lean Six Sigma, Black Belt, Certified Quality Engineer or Manager, without having to take the ASQ certification tests?
Absolutely not. And I say that jokingly because I've had to go through that process.
Right.
No, but it does expose the students. The positive is that it does, again, expose them to those same concepts that are typically used in a standard test environment. However, it would be their responsibility to be aware of the requirements and subsequently apply for those certifications. But they will be a part of a community of individuals, some that may have it and some that may aspire, but they will be their responsibility to pursue those certifications.
Just to add to that, as Rochelle pointed out, the ASQ provides the certification process. We do, however, provide separate certification prep courses. So in order to help you to gain your certification in, say, quality auditing, quality management, quality engineering, and other quality certifications.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you. And this is probably for you, Rochelle. This person is asking, are there any courses that are related to clinical trials in this program?
Related to clinical trials. Not one stands out. We do have students whose professions are in CRO environments and the CRO industries, but I am not aware of a course specifically dedicated to topics that are restricted to those types of subject matters such as clinical trials. Keith, I'm not sure if you are aware of any.
I'm not, there's no courses specifically, but all of these quality principles could be, there are several that could be applied to that environment.
Yes, agreed.
Okay, great. And this person is pointing out, according to admissions requirements, applicants who do not have a baccalaureate degree in a technical field need to receive approval from the QA program academic coordinator. And how would someone go about obtaining this approval?
Put that in your statement of intent letter, and that would be your pitch to be enrolled in the program.
Great. And we have a lot of great questions coming in here, so I just want to be mindful of time, so I think we'll just answer a couple more. And so the next question here, can you walk me through a specific example of what a student project might entail, Rochelle?
Okay. An example of what a student project might entail, and I will speak in pseudonyms so that I don't snitch on any of my students. So an example of a student project, I will use, for an example, a student that is at the point where they have met the requirements to begin their thesis or project, in this case, their project, which is one of the requirements for getting their degree. An example of what they might go through, number one, there are minimum requirements in terms of credit hour courses that have to be completed before they take the directed research-based course. And that course is designed to prepare that student to effectively execute that project as part of CSUDH's requirements. So if that has been satisfied, overall, the journey that they will take is to, number one, establish the project topic, not just the title of what they're interested in, but specifically what they seek to address in that topic for the project. Depending on what they addressed or planning to address, that will inform the theory that they will use to apply what they will investigate. If people are involved in their project, let's say, for instance, if they wish to get information through a survey, then there are certain requirements that are spelled out in our thesis and project requirements document, which is a policy that all of our students have to align with. And from there, they have to pursue that project work once they have been approved to start on the project, and that will first involve completing the directed resource course successfully and identifying committee members. These are 3 instructors, one being the chair, who will advise that student through that journey. And as they matriculate through that process, they will interact with those committee members who will advise them through that journey to the point where they have demonstrated that the project reflects the requirements of CSUDH. And at that point, they will get the approval through that chair and sign off from the committee, which will be the milestone that lets them know that their project has been accepted, and that paperwork will be filed with our graduate student office. So that's in a nutshell the journey, a typical journey that a person pursuing a project will have to go through.
Great, thank you so much, Rochelle. And for you, Keith, this person is asking, after the program, is an internship required? And if so, does the university help explore those types of internships?
There is no internship required, and if the student wants to avail themselves of our Career Center, they can certainly help with job placement or internship. However, after having completed this program, I think they can aim much higher than an internship.
Great, thank you. And what classes would you suggest if you want to be a consultant for startup companies? Perhaps maybe what track as well, to be more broad?
Service. I would suggest service, the service and healthcare, focusing on service as much as possible.
Great, thank you. And Keith, for you, what have students said is the biggest challenge to pursuing a degree in an online environment? Or I guess for you too, Rochelle, as you're interacting with students on a daily basis as well.
I think one of the challenges that a student might experience that they will have to work around is the time zone difference. That could be one. Another could be, as I alluded to in a previous answer, all those things in life that happen around in their various circles and how they have to manage the coursework along with everything else that they have in their scope of responsibility.
I would say the biggest challenge that people face in an online environment, and this usually happens more at the undergraduate level than the master's level, but is simple organization and self-motivation. So you're not coming to a class once or 3 times a week and having to adhere to that rigor. The rigor is all self-managed. So you have to make sure that you get the work done every week and arrange time in your busy schedule to do that. Online programs are not for everyone, but we find that people who take our programs often feel closer to their classmates halfway around the world than they ever did sitting next to somebody in a classroom. So there's certainly benefits to be derived as well.
Wonderful, thank you. And Keith, can you just reiterate, just because there's a few questions still coming in about this topic, how many hours per week one should dedicate to this program to be successful?
Well, as Rochelle pointed out, it depends on the person's, their individual situation, what experience they bring to the program, what other obligations they have in terms of their job and family and so forth. I would say on a per class basis, you want to dedicate at least 10 to 20 hours a week to the class.
Great. All right, and it looks like with that, we have reached the end of our questions and answer session. So I will just reiterate again to the group here, we will be sending this recorded version with this Q&A for reference following the webinar. So just keep a lookout in your inboxes for that. So I would just like to thank you all again for joining us today, and thank you, Keith and Rochelle, for your very thoughtful answers to our questions. We hope this information presented will help guide you in your quality assurance journey. And with that, I hope everyone has a pleasant afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.